Hey everybody, it's Joseph here. This is part one of the filming locations for Penny Dreadful City of Angels. What you see here, you see the side of the old bridge there, and right below it you see the 110 freeway. This part of Los Angeles is called Highland Park. Now Highland Park is where I grew up. This was one of the epicenters of the freeway, the 110 freeway. For those who may not know, the 110 freeway, the Pasadena freeway, was one of the original freeways in the country, if not the first. Definitely one of the first in California at the time, a major highway like this. And so the 110 freeway goes through Pasadena, which is going eastbound, that direction where you see the cars traveling, and it covers Highland Park into Pasadena. And Highland Park was owned by the Verdugo family. That's at a time when it was still considered Mexico, California, and they owned close to over 400 acres of land. It wasn't until 1849 that the secession happened. There is controversy with that. There are many who believe that that land was stolen. Of course, American history, which we have come to know and has been to some degrees revisionist history, claims that they legally paid for the land. There's others that dispute that. I know that at that time Americans felt that it was manifest destiny, that it was God's will for them to have this land, and so they took it. Of course, you had many indigenous cultures here, one of them being the indigenous culture from Mexico that were already here. And so when the United States took over their land, of course at that time, all of a sudden those people became illegal, even though this was their native land. So what I will do, like I said, Highland Park, I grew up in Highland Park, and it didn't become Highland Park until I believe in the 1920s, if not a little bit before then. And the land was eventually purchased by Glassell, and I can't remember his first name, but Glassell is one of the co-owners of this land, and he does have a park named after him called Glassell Park, which is on the opposite side of where I'm at now. And we'll take a drive down the 110 freeway and let you know a little bit more. Now, before I do take you down the Pasadena freeway, I'm going to take you through a little tour of Highland Park. This is one of the local parks in the city. Of course, in different times you would have this Sycamore Grove Park thriving with people and kids. Now, the portion of Highland Park that I'm talking about, which is here, is the northwest corner of Highland Park, going towards Dodger Stadium. Where we're going now down southwest, it's going to show you a unique building that was used as a facade for episode 3. It was the Crimson Club facade of the building that was used for the episode called Wicked Old World. And that facade was used for the nightclub scene of the Zoot Suiters. And you'll see that we're approaching it in about a couple minutes, but we'll show it to you once we get there. Okay, I'm going to stand here in the shade. So this building right in front of us currently is a council member's first district office, Gilbert Cedillo. But this building here has been around for quite a while. I can't give you an exact date, but could be at the turn of the century. This facade was used for the Crimson Club scene in Penny Dreadful City of Angels in episode 3. And what you can see here is the arches, the type of architecture they were looking for. And I believe that facade was recreated and done in the studio. So this is Highland Park. Little side note about Highland Park. In the 20s and 30s, Highland Park was the hub of the arts and crafts movement in California, in Southern California. Later on, that moved down to the Wilshire district. But in the 20s and 30s, there was great artists and a lot of intellectuals, a lot of bohemian types during the 20s and 30s here in Highland Park. And throughout the years, you can still see remnants of that. The building across the street when I was a kid was Security Pacific Bank. It became Crocker Bank, and then later on Bank of America. I don't think it's being utilized now, but you can tell the type of architecture that it does have. There's been a lot of multiple movie shoots and TV shoots that utilize some of these old buildings. And right across the street here where it says travel, the front of that is also a movie theater. Another side note was the movie theater here at the back end where you see that white truck and the truck turning in to the left. That back area was used in the 1970s Kurt Russell when he portrayed Elvis Presley. Another notable feature about Highland Park is that if you're into music, the singer Jackson Browne was raised here in Highland Park as a child, and his grandfather owned this unique house that was made out of rocks down the 110 Pasadena Freeway. Unfortunately, right now I can't get there. You have to go through some side streets that have been blocked off, but we'll try to get down to the Pasadena 110 Freeway. Before I leave this particular location, you can see the old Highland Theater sign. It's blocked off by the addition of this building that's to the left of it. It's one of the first movie theaters here in Highland Park. Like I mentioned before, I'll keep reiterating it. Highland Park is in the hub of Los Angeles. It's just a little section of Los Angeles which gets its name. Like many big cities, there's little subdivisions of the city, and it has its little unique items about it. Like I said, famous for the arts and crafts movements in the 20s and 30s. And I'll continue to show you more and try to head out to the freeway now. By the way, the street that we're on is Figueroa. It's a well-known street, and that's where you had the buildings that I was referring to. As I show you some of these old buildings here in Highland Park, a lot of them have been refurbished. One of the complaints that many residents have is that this community has been gentrified in the last 10 years, and some of its origins of the city are slowly disappearing. You've had a migration of a lot of folks coming from Washington State and Oregon that have been coming down and kind of they've kind of reestablished some of these businesses here, but at the same time, the residents that were native to this area as well as the city for more than 50-60 years, there always seems to be a problem when you have other residents coming down and pushing out its original, or it's let me just take that back. It's residents and over purchasing for homes and driving the prices of homes and businesses way up. So right now we're currently driving down York Boulevard. If you continue down York as we're approaching Avenue 64, we're headed towards the 110 freeway. You go into South Pasadena, which is about a mile or two straight down. Because my phone only limits me to tape 10 minutes at a time, I will continue this footage on another video. So stay tuned for that.